They don't have money, but they're funny, and they're coming to your country. They're the backpack bandits.
What's up, everybody? Thanks for clicking this video. Welcome to the Backpack Bandits travel vlog. My name is Simon Hill. I'm from America. This is my wife,
Akti, and I'm from Turkey.
And right now we're filming this video in Vlore, Albania. We came to Albania from Kosovo on June 24th or 25th. I forgot the exact date. And we're filming this video on July 31st, 2023. And we're going to do a full review of our month here in Albania. So the cities that we visited here in Albania were Tirana for 2 weeks, Durrës for 1 week, Berat for about 3 days or 2.5 days, however you want to count it, and Vlore for about a week and a half. We got to see a lot of the country, visit a lot of museums, eat a lot of different food, go up to different mountains, jump in the sea, visit churches, and nice beaches. In my opinion, the top 3 things to do in Albania mostly are in the main capital city of Tirana, which is probably where you will first come if you come to this country, either by bus or by plane, because I think the only airport in this country is Tirana, but forgive me if I'm wrong. But in Tirana, there is these museums, 2 of them called bunk art, which are these underground bunkers that were made during the communist era here in Albania, that have now been renovated to become museums. And Bunk Art 1 was one of the most interesting museums that I ever had the chance to go to. And I truly reminisced about it, thought about it a lot. It really challenged me on a lot of things. And that's why it's one of the most interesting museums. You just have to go. It's hard to describe the experience there. The second thing I'll talk about is this random car show that we went to. So there was a day when we were, city touring Tirana, and we stumbled upon this random car show where these guys were doing drifting tricks around the racetrack in Albania, in Tirana. I mean, it was absolutely free. They were playing some really cool music. People were just having a good time, and there was no drama at all. And it was really cool to see that. I've never been to a drifting show, never been to a car show. Albanians like to drive fast, and they like hip hop, which I love hip hop too. That was cool to see. And the third thing I'll talk about is this place called Daiti Mountain. And Daiti is this cable car that you go up to, and up there on the mountain you can ride horses, you can eat, drink, of course they have cafes, you can do paragliding, you can do zip lining. We didn't get a chance to do all of that, but it's very cool that in Tirana there is that option.
I would definitely recommend going into Tirana and just touring the city, going to a couple of museums. It's nice, and there are different art installations around the city, nice pubs and restaurants that you can find traditional food. Outside of Tirana, one of my favorite experiences were going to Berat. We went to Berat actually for a beer festival, and that was really dope. The entrance was free, the beer was cheap, the music was great. We really enjoyed, we danced a lot. Albanian people know how to party to their own music, at least. They were dancing, and I just liked that whole experience. And also the city, Berat, is very nice. It's very historical. It has that very local traditional feeling that you lack, I think, in other parts of the country. So if you do want to get that traditional feeling from your trip, then definitely stop by Berat. The last thing I'll recommend is if you are around Vlore and you want to go to a nice beach. I actually really like the beach that we went yesterday. It was a beach near Zvernek. The monastery itself is okay, it's not a lot to see, but the beach and the beach clubs that are close to there were very nice. The sea was clean, and there was music, there was some food in the clubs or restaurants there, drinks. Overall, I really like that area and that beach.
I want to just talk about 3 things that are not things that you can just do, but things that I did that were memorable for me. So we went to Durrës, and I played some American football with some kids and random Albanian people there and Kosovo people there, and that was fun. Hitchhiking on our way to Zvernek yesterday, and going to that amazing beach over there is an experience I had. And Albanian people are nice when it comes to hitchhiking. We got our ride there relatively quickly in about 30 minutes. Another great experience I had was just seeing the warm waters of Vlore. Like, Vlore is generally probably the best area if you really want to go swimming and that sort of thing. And also another experience I have to mention, sorry, I'm going to name them all, going to the National History Museum here in Albania, and I met some random Americans that were here probably on a missionary trip, like to spread the gospel of Jesus, but they were playing baseball and I played baseball with them, and I love to play baseball. So that was a cool experience I had. But their National History Museum is also a must-see if you come to Albania. It's in Tirana.
Places to avoid, or maybe you can skip, or any experiences that you didn't like.
So I believe that maybe if you're coming here to have a summer holiday on the beach, the best place to go is to the south. If you go to Durrës, it's okay, but Vlore feels like a much bigger city, even though Durrës is technically, supposedly the second biggest city. But if you come to Vlore, you'll have a much cleaner experience in the water. All right, so the phone overheated because we were outside in the sun, and the sun was directly on the iPhone. And before it blew up, we had to come inside. You go to Berat, or maybe any probably historic old town in Albania, this could happen to you, so watch out. We went to Berat, we went exploring the castle. They have old people that still live in the castle, old ladies. One of them got us. She invited us into her home. We only wanted to order some drinks, but then she brought out cake and frozen watermelon skin and coffee and different things. Charged us like $25 for all of it. $25, oh my God. The thing is, at the castle in Berat, there are places where you can eat a full course meal for 2 people for $18. So that was definitely a ripoff. She overcharged us, and that could happen, so watch out for that. And the third thing I'll mention about watching out for in Albania is that the high season here is June and July, which is the summer, which is the time we were here. So that means apartments like where we're staying now are more expensive. There's less availability. Things get snatched up very quick on Airbnb and booking. You're looking at an apartment 1 hour before, an hour later, it's booked, it's gone. Maybe come in August or in May, so you can still get some warm weather, good weather, and you can still swim in the sea.
I don't regret anything that we did, or I didn't really think anything that we did was like unnecessary or we could have skipped it. In general, it was like, okay. If you're in Vlore, I really was like curious about the monastery that here. It's like 2-hour walk from the city center, or maybe like 30 minutes with a car. I'm glad that we went there because the beach there was really nice, but the monastery is like, it's okay. So maybe if you really want to do that, you can skip the monastery and spend a day at the beach instead. But the beach there is really nice, and if you have a car, you can also check out the monastery as well. But I don't know if it's worth walking for an hour in the hot sun, but yeah.
All right, something else I have to say, if you come to Albania, avoid this mistake. A lot of places in the world you can pay with a card. Albania is a very, very cash-based society. So make sure if you're going to a place like Daiti Mountain, and I'm saying this because there's no ATM up there and nobody takes card up there. If you're going up to Daiti Mountain to do all the things I spoke about before, zip lining, paragliding, mini golf, whatever you want to do up there, take some cash with you. The ATMs here in Albania usually take a fee rather than a percentage for your withdrawals. So take out a large amount, pay the 650 lek, 500 lek. The most I saw was 800 lek. And by the way, the lek is very tied to the euro. So when I say 800 lek, it's about 8 euros. So you take out your $200, which is about 20,000 lek, pay your fee. You'll be able to do most things that you want in the city with just cash. But taking your card out only works at grocery stores and some hotels. That's it.
And they do accept euros as well, but maybe if you're using lek, it might be more profitable for you.
I have to say also, the Albanian people are generally very honest. So if you come to Albania, they're not going to try to rip you off in general. I can only think of one time I got ripped off, which was at the beer festival, where I paid maybe 50 lek more or 100 lek more for the 2 drinks I got. But generally, everybody is very fair. Nobody's trying to scam you, like in Tanzania. And in some places in Kenya, I ain't forget.
It was a heartbreak for us. That's why we can't stop talking about it. But there can be like different prices for different things depending on where you are. I also want to talk about transportation, like generally how bus friendly this country is. I think you can probably find a bus to any city. It can be hard to find them online and buy tickets online if you're going from anywhere from Tirana to anywhere else, maybe you can find it. But if you're traveling between small cities, like from Durrës to Vlorë, it's hard to find online tickets, so it's just better to ask around. You can usually find like little offices, or you can just go directly to the bus station. And in terms of public transportation inside the city, I could only find that information online about Tirana, and I did it with an app called Move It. But in other cities, like in Durrës and Vlorë, there's no information about public transportation online, or at least I couldn't find it. So you can ask the locals, or you can take a taxi, or you can just walk.
Generally, when it comes to the taxis here, the guys are giving prices in euros, and they're very adamant on at least like a 10 euro flat fee. I haven't heard any taxi here say anything other than 10 euros for the trip, no matter what we're describing or where we're trying to go. So like when we took the bus from Tirana to Durrës, we made it there, a bunch of taxi guys around 10 euros, 10 euros, 10 euros. No negotiation, no anything like that. Of course, 10 euros is about 1,000 lek, so then work it out that way. It's probably very likely there is no Uber here or Lyft. If we're wrong, you can put that correction here. But taxis are generally a way to get around, but it starts at 10 euros. Yeah. And there is a meter, but I have not seen anybody turn it on.
Taximeter looks like it's closed all the time, every time like we get in. You can find like a lot of small markets in small streets. Usually the big markets are laid out on the main streets. Have some cash with you all the time if you're away from a big supermarket. But generally, most things are accessible. The most inaccessible thing is food. Anything except like pizza.
Generally, I just have to say about the accessibility of needs. You can generally find everything you want. You go to the grocery store, there's everything here. Whatever you're looking for, you can definitely find it. So we've stayed at different types of accommodation. We've stayed at apartments, hostels, guest houses. Generally, my best experience here was staying at a guest house. When we stayed at that guest house in Barat, I had a great time. In summer, June and July, these are the high months. Places like Vlorë, they're starting off for studio apartments if you want to be alone at around $25 a night and up, maybe even more. 27, inflation is catching up. It's expensive to travel in the Balkans now. And Albania is a lot more pricey than other Balkan places I've traveled because they keep their lek tied to the euro. So just for like a week in a apartment studio, $25 times 7, you do the math, that's well over $100, $150 maybe just for that week. Hostels can be a bit cheaper, but once again during the summer it can be a bit more. We stayed at Hostel Albania in Tirana, and just for those 5 days that we booked, we paid like $125 for tents, not even for bunk beds and air-conditioned rooms. Guest houses can be a bit cheaper with shared bathrooms. They start at around $20 in the summer. You can travel here on a budget depending on what you're looking for. My best suggestion is do the guest houses because Albanians have good hospitality when you're paying them. They're generally very, very respectful. What I have to say about Albanian people, they're very respectful and hospitable in general, especially if you're in their home. The pricing here of things in general feels a bit out of whack when you compare it to the quality of the place and the infrastructure and then the money that you're spending, but it's just how it is in their country. I don't know why it is like that, but that's just how it is.
Sometimes we've had issues with the water and electricity with some apartments, and also some problems with Wi-Fi with some places, but in general, I think it's manageable. Like even if the electricity goes off, the maximum time that you will have to wait is maybe an hour, and probably not even that much. Or with the water, there is a water shortage in Albania during the summer. So, some houses have pumps, and like in our last apartment, we had to do that. We had to turn on the pump whenever we wanted to use the water. So maybe you would have to do something like that, but in general, it's manageable. Like it's not that big of a deal. And also I want to say that when you go to the grocery store, like the big ones that you can pay with card, a general shopping that you would do, like getting water, bread, eggs, cheese maybe, and some like couple of vegetables, something like that costs around like $25 to $35.
The good thing about housing in Albania, for all my American viewers, they love AC. They keep the AC here. There's no fans. I know a lot of people in Europe and abroad aren't used to AC, but for us, It's necessary, and they keep it on.
I mean, we did stay in a house in Durrës with the fans, but I would definitely recommend getting a place with the AC if you're here during summer. Let's come to food.
Where?
Exactly. That summarizes the food, basically. I feel like generally Albanian food that you can find out in the restaurant is very, very inspired by Italian food and maybe a little bit of Greek food. They have pizza everywhere. Like any restaurant you can think of have pizza. Sometimes it's the only thing that you can find. And they also love gelato or ice cream. They have it everywhere. They do have like a big cafe culture. Like people here love to go out, drink coffee, drink water, drink beer out in, you know, little cafes. We did taste some traditional Albanian food like ferges, börek. Like I'm familiar with börek from Turkey, so that wasn't like a big thing for me. For me, overall, the food was just lacking that traditional sense. Maybe it's different, maybe we couldn't find it, but we tried. We really tried hard, I feel like, at some point. The most traditional places that I saw was in Berat, especially if you're in a touristic area like Vlore or Durrës. There's just a lot of either fast food restaurants that serve souvlaki, which is something like gyros or gyro, however you say it, or you can find pizza.
When we came to Albania, we were just generally shocked by the sheer amount of pizzerias. Like, that's the thing. There's pizza literally everywhere, like she said, and she is not lying. And if you come here, you will see it for yourself. Generally, the street food, though, the food that feeds like the working people, are the souvlakis, and they're the cheapest thing to buy. That's generally good. It's 250 lek in general just to get a good souvlaki. A lot of meat, a lot of French fries, a lot of vegetables in there, covered in mayonnaise and ketchup. You can, I guess, get by on that if you want a varied diet thing. Other than that, when it comes to their traditional food, it's mostly really Turkish food. I don't know why you didn't say it. I don't know why you're scared to say it, but I'm a rep for the Ottomans right now, I guess. I still got my penis, though. That's a joke,
wow.
Inside joke. Anyway, basically, their traditional food is kofte, which is Turkish meatballs, and ferges is very similar to another Turkish dish as well. In my opinion, is it not?
Yeah, it's very similar, but it's like that in like most Balkan
places. Of course, because of the, ancient influence. And listen, y'all, we're not here to fight about the past, so y'all better chill in the comments. Ain't nobody worried about no stuff in the past, all right? Chill. But no, for real though, the pizza is just a bit much. I love pizza. I love ice cream. They serve a lot of ice cream here. People love to eat ice cream, especially during summer. And if you don't like pizza or ice cream, you probably weren't happy as a child. But it's just a bit much. When we were in Kosovo, we really enjoyed the food because number one, they serve you mixed meat plates with bread and salad and all of that for a decent price. 10 euros, maybe less. 2 people, us, could eat out, be full, and have a good time. Here in Albania, for 2 people to eat out and to try to find a place that serves a varied selection of food, it was at least 20 euros. And that's what makes it even harder. Did we eat traditional food? Yes. I went to this place here in Vlore called Novus, Novus, and they served a chicken breast wrapped in bacon, covered in gravy, with peppers stuffed inside. Very good, but that was the only thing they had. It was like nobody was in that restaurant, and it was actually a pretty good restaurant. I don't know what it is here. I feel like people either eat at home because we're staying in this apartment here that's also shared by a family that lives out front, and when we stopped by their door one time, they were eating a whole selection of meat. It looked good, it smelled good. So maybe people eat their traditional food at home, and when they go out, they want something that they don't eat at home, which might be pizza or souvlaki or something like that. I don't know. Generally, it's very strange to go to a country because usually you want to go to a different country and try their cuisine, try their food. But here, it's just a lot of just pizza outside and that sort of thing. For a country that's very close to Italy, I'm just very upset that it's only pizza y'all took. They have so many different things. Gnocchi, penne. Come on now.
When they do meat, it's good. Like, it's good meat. They cook it nice. But yeah, that's kind of like all there is. And we were a bit disappointed. And also, like, I'm never eating pizza again.
Also, I have to say, we ate some seafood in Durrës. And it was about 9 euros each for both of our plates that were fish. And they only brought out fish and then some bread when we asked for it. And, I feel like that's unacceptable. If you serve fish, you gotta have a salad at least with it. Maybe some fries. You might think I'm spoiled, but I got that in Macedonia, I got that in Serbia, I got that. Generally, that's how you eat fish. You don't just eat a plate of fish. And for a place that has the sea, very long coastline, there's not a lot of seafood options around. There are seafood restaurants, but it's not everywhere, like my experience in Tunisia or many other Mediterranean countries, or countries that have a Mediterranean coast like Turkey, where they serve seafood and they serve it, fully. I'm not picking on the country and its cuisine. As a traveler, you should know you're not coming here as a foodie, in my opinion. So when it comes to being a black traveler here in Albania, this has been, by far, the most racist country I've ever visited. I'm not saying that hyperbolically. I've been to many different countries, many around the world. I've been in Black Africa, I've been in Asia, I've been in Turkey, different parts of the Balkans, Serbia, Kosovo, right, Macedonia, North Africa as well. I'm from the United States. I know racism when I see it, when I smell it, when I hear it. Oh my God. I've never been called nigger by so many white people in my life. There's a lot more I have to say, but I'll just say this. If you are a black traveler coming here and planning on spending an extended amount of time here, there is a high probability that you will be called a racial slur in the street, that people will disrespect you, that people will say negative things about you, follow you around the stores, take pictures of you without your consent, and that sort of thing. I am not here to judge the Albanian people if they feel like it's okay to call black people nigger in the street, if they feel like it's wrong to call us zezak, which is their word for nigger, or zenci, which is a Turkish loan word that they picked up from Turkish, just like how they picked up nigger from English. There are many words that they call us here, disrespect that's thrown out at us. You as a black traveler might be fine with it. You might think it's funny or cute that young boys say, nigga, what's up, nigga? I don't. I'm a grown-ass man. I spend my hard-earned money to travel. I don't go anywhere in the world planning to be disrespected or to bring on that disrespect to myself. If you are a black tourist coming here and you don't commit any crime, if you're not doing anything wrong, there's no reason for you to be disrespected. I came here, followed all the rules, followed all the laws, didn't do anything wrong, and have felt the utmost disrespect from the people. There's more I've talked about on my channel, Simon Hill Keeps It Trill. Subscribe there. They dress up on blackface on national TV. They think it's funny. They think it's okay to make fun of us. If that's okay for them, it's okay for me to say, black travelers, beware. Wild, rampant racism here. Are there good people? Yes. Are there nice people? Yes. But almost every single day I've been in the street, I've had people say, fuck you, nigga, like in Durres. I've had people yell out zenci across the street like in Barat. I've had people say fuck you, fuck nigga here in Vlore. I've been called nigga multiple times by children in Tirana. They spray paint that word on the walls. That lets you know about the climate here. There's no excuse because it's from hip hop. There's no excuse because you heard it from movies. It's not okay, Albania, but go ahead and keep doing it and I'll keep saying what I have to say. Black travelers, beware. Is it safe though for us? Generally, yes. Anything is safer than the US or any country in the diaspora where we come from to be black here.
I'll also talk about like female travelers and just in general what I felt being out on the streets. People dress however they want, first of all. It is a touristic country, so you can't go out with your bikini and thong or whatever. People don't find that weird. But the thing that disturbed me the most was that they do stare a lot here in Albania. I don't feel attacked by it, but I do feel disturbed when I get the stares and they do it like following you with their head. That is one thing that I was disturbed about, but in general, I did go out by myself one time in Durres, like around 9 until like 11 or something. In general, I felt safe. I did have like one guy approach to me, but he was respectful. He just asked if I wanted to hang out with him. I said no. That was that. It was fine. Yeah, in general, I feel like this is a safe country for women to travel. I don't think I've been catcalled. I did get a whistle one time, but yeah, that happens in Turkey as well. Actually, it happens more in Turkey. So I feel like in general, this is a safe country for females to come and travel to.
There is a perception overall that Albania is a dangerous country because unfortunately there are many young Albanian men who immigrate to different countries and commit crime at a very high rate, unfortunately. As a black person, I know what it feels like to be stereotyped and presumed to be dangerous, so I sympathize with the Albanian men, and it's very wrong that people have this perception of Albania because first and foremost, I've been a lot of places and Albania is one of the places where I have felt the safest, though I have been disrespected as a black tourist. tourist, I never once felt unsafe here. So people, if you're watching this video and you think Albania might be dangerous, in my opinion, it's not. The people are very respectful. They're very reserved in a way. They don't like to approach and prod too much in a sense, but there is some level of ignorance here when it comes to black tourists or people who are definitely non-white walking around the country. Expect to get stares, expect to get pointed at, expect to get called racial slurs, and then on top of that, expect Albanian people to make excuses for it. They'll say it's okay to call black people niggers because they heard it in hip hop. They'll never once say it's wrong to do that and we're sorry. Never once. Never once will you hear that from any Albanian person.
We're not trying to attack anybody or any group of people. Simon is simply just sharing what he has experienced, and you can see it on his channel also because he vlogged day by day, like every single day almost, while he was in Albania. So go check that out too if you're curious about that. So let's wrap this up. We're gonna give Albania an overall score out of the countries that we've been to.
So when you consider the beautiful beaches that are here, the stunning views and the mountains, and the history that's here that's very deep, there are a lot of pros to visiting Albania. For me, the museums here were some of the most interesting, fascinating places I've been. The mountains are beautiful. I love mountains. I love the sea. I love the beach. That geographic beauty makes for a lot of high scores here. And if you love nature, you're gonna have fun here in Albania. The only thing that is bringing this score down, and is probably the lowest score I've ever given to a country that I've traveled to, is the blatant disrespect for me as a paying, law-abiding, non-threatening tourist, just like any other tourist that comes to Albania, and the disrespect that I've gotten on the streets. Called nigger multiple times, called Zenchi once, called Zezak when I speak about it, and not given any sort of apology from the Albanian people, except more excuses from the Albanian people. So because of the blatant racism I experienced here, and just generally the lack of food options, the lack of variety when it comes to the cuisine, and also the difficulty of making digital payments, I have to give this place an overall 5, a 5. The nature and the beauty, the ease of moving around are the benefits and the plus. The negatives are the payments, the racism in the streets, and the lack of food options for me, which are very important for me, and that's why Albania gets a 5. It's alright. If you choose to come, it's okay.
Yeah.
But if you don't come, in my opinion, you're not missing out on much.
I agree with you on most of the stuff you said. The racism was very annoying part and very disrespectful part of our travel. Even if it's not directed towards me, it's directed towards my husband, and it's just disturbing overall. But other than that, no food options. I wasn't very impressed with the food, to be honest. It does have a beautiful nature. It's like a Mediterranean nature, but I have to say, like, at least the beaches that we've been to, it wasn't anything too special, because I just remember the time when we were in Africa and I looked at the beach, even though sometimes it was unswimmable, it looked like a particular way and it looked so nice and it looked so good. Here, in my opinion, some of the beaches were a bit dirty, a bit overcrowded. We did see a turd at the beach in Durres. That beach that we went yesterday was really nice, but other than that, if I'm specifically coming here to have a beach holiday, this wouldn't be the country that I pick, because if I'm gonna pay this much money, then I might rather go to Italy or Greece with more food options and maybe better beaches. Also, one more thing, I forgot to talk about this. People, especially out of Tirana, don't know a lot of English. It's kind of hard to, ask directions and go around, or when you're like talking to your landlord, some of them don't know English or they're old. I think that was a bit of a problem for me too. Not that I want everyone to know or speak English, but just in general, that was a bit of a handicap as well for me. So yeah, I'm gonna give it a 5.5.
So thank you for coming along with us on our journey. And just a quick reminder before we wrap up, this was our own experience as budget travelers. We had some great times in Albania. We enjoyed so much of what the country has to offer to us, and we truly appreciate those things. But there were also moments we struggled with, and that's just how it was for us. We just hope that this inspires others to go out and make experiences and memories of their own. Every traveler writes their own story, everyone has their own experiences. We're not trying to offend anybody or hurt anybody, and we hope you enjoyed this review.
See.
Ciao.